Morning. As this morning prelude ends, we ask you to remember to unmute yourself before you begin speaking, whereas normally we'd ask you to silence yourself and your cell phone before the beginning of service. How backwards things are in these strange times. Unitarian Universalism is not a religion of tolerance. We do not tolerate the stranger, the heretic, or the outcast. We accept you, welcome you, invite you in. Tolerance is too low a bar. Even with those whom we adamantly disagree, we seek understanding and peace. Good morning and welcome to West Valley Unitarian Universalist online services. We are a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and together we support the inherent dignity and worth of all people, the right and responsibility to seek a path of truth and meaning that speaks to us, and we accept our place in the interdependent web of all life. This morning we welcome back Reverend Cathy, who will be speaking on Make America Kind Again. My name is Tom, and I'm a worship associate for this Sunday service. You are welcome. You are welcome here. You are welcome here regardless. You are welcome here regardless of who you love, where you come from, or what you look like, what you've done or what you didn't do. Whether you are young or old, timid or bold, trans or cis, black or white, left or right, gay or straight, both or neither, skeptic or believer, all are welcome here. If you're visiting us this morning, we're grateful that you chose to join us and hope you will hang out after the services and participate in our fellowship discussion hour. We'd love the chance to greet you and welcome you to our community. We begin our service with the symbolic lighting of the chalice to embody a flame of hope, the light of reason, the warmth of community, and shared sacrifice and love. This morning, our chalice will be lit by our good friend, Roz Cook.
Good morning, everyone. This quote I have is from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and deep, loving kindness. Beautiful people do not just happen.
Thank you, Roz. I now invite you to join and recite along with me the covenant. Love is the doctrine of our congregation. The quest for truth is our holy right, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in friendship, thus do we covenant. Every week in our church, we take up an offering, and although we could easily submit our pledge checks to the church at any convenient time, we pass the metaphorical plate during worship service to make a community expression of gratitude for the blessing of abundance. Thank you so much for that, Joe. And now we welcome back Reverend Cathy, who will be speaking on Make America Kind Again. I very much look forward to this.
Hi, it's good to be with you, and I want to thank Tom for those opening words. Really like them, especially about tolerance. The small group that Sharon's leading, that I'm involved in, through which I am learning a great deal, talked about tolerance and how low a bar that really is. So anyway, very good words. Thank you so much, Tom. A young mother by the name of Amanda Blanc in Sacramento, California, was inspired by a local Facebook group to create a positive political sign in 2016. She finally settled on the phrase, "Make America Kind Again." I would imagine that her motivation, in part, was to offer a different perspective from "Make America Great Again," as well as counteract all the disheartening posts in which people are bullied and harassed. In fairness, there are just as many posts that are affirming and positive, like this one, author unknown. If you wear a hijab, I'll sit with you on the train. If you're trans, I'll go to the restroom with you. If you're a person of color, I'll stand with you if the cops stop you. If you're a person with disabilities, I'll hand you my megaphone. If you're an immigrant, I'll help you find resources. If you're a survivor, I'll believe you. If you're a refugee, I'll make sure you're welcomed. If you're a veteran, I'll take up your fight. If you're LGBTQ, I won't let anyone tell you that you're broken. If you're a woman, I'll make sure you get home okay. If you're tired, me too. And if you just need a hug, I've got an infinite supply. If you need me, I'll be with you. All I ask is that you be with me too. I'm not sure that America was all that authentically kind before. If so, would all this anger and violence and acrimonious language and hate crimes even be occurring? Reminds me of the Langston Hughes poem, "Let America be America again." Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was that America to me. Let America be the dream that dreamers dreamed. Let it be the great strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme that any man be crushed by the one above. It never was that America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the very air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across our stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro, bearing slavery's scars. I am the red person, driven from the land. I am the immigrant, clutching the hope I seek, and finally, finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young one, full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, or grab the gold, or grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the man or take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bound to the soil. I am the worker, sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the one who never got ahead. The poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet, I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow tuned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I am the one who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet. And yet must be, the land where everyone is free, the land that's mine, the poor ones, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain from those who live like leeches on the people's lives. We must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain. All the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. I don't really want what we were to be again. I want us to put that America behind us and move forward in new ways, real, sustaining ways of freedom and equality, with a soul full of deep kindness, not confetti kindness. Confetti kindness is a term used by Houston Kraft, author of the book Deep Kindness, a revolutionary guide for the way we think, talk, and act in kindness. He uses confetti kindness to describe the mass-marketed feel-good kindness associated with warm fuzziness, like pay-it-forward coffee lines or random acts. Not to dismiss this type of kindness, because it is rooted in good intentions and a desire to help. But he believes there is a more profound category of kindness and care that the world desperately needs. A deep kindness. The sort of generosity that expects nothing in return. Care that is given despite a person's shortcomings or ugliness. A commitment to consistent, thoughtful actions that is given not dependent upon circumstances or convenience. It is beyond politeness or even an honest desire to help. Deep kindness requires self-reflection, profound courage, a willingness to be humbled, and hard-earned social and emotional skills. Deep kindness is the byproduct of a whole lot of emotional intelligences coming together to perform an action that may look externally simple, but is internally complicated. It is the deep kindness that overcomes generational hate and champions justice. It's the type of kindness we must teach and explore for ourselves if we are ever going to live in a world that is less divisive and more compassionate. He was motivated to write this book following an experience on an airplane with a woman named Helga. He was stuck in the middle seat and couldn't find a way to get the message across to the other two passengers that he was not interested in chit-chatting. And he could not keep Helga from telling her story. She started out by remembering the last time she had flown. 3 years ago when she boarded a plane for Arizona to see her dad, who was seriously ill. Just as her plane was about to take off for Phoenix, the doctor called to inform her that her dad had passed away. For the entire 3-hour plane ride, she just sat in stunned silence, surrounded by strangers. When she arrived at the airport, she stumbled out and leaned up against the nearest wall and crumpled to the ground, weeping. She cried there for 2 hours, during which literally thousands of people walked by. Not a single person stopped to help. At the conclusion of her story, she said to the author, "You know, I realized as maybe 3,000 people walked by me in my profound grief and pain that kindness is not normal." I believe that compassion is hardwired within us. It is normal. It is in our DNA. But kindness is a choice to act upon and express that compassion. Her words stuck with him because he said, "I want to live in a world where kindness is the baseline. A world where everyone is capable of meeting the basic human needs for attention, hopefulness, and care. A world where people have the skills and courage to stop and help someone crying in the airport. A world that believes that kindness is the single most important skill for a more meaningful life and a more abundant, caring, connected community." And he said, "I've learned along the way that if that is to be the world that I want to live in, it's going to take a lot of work." So he began to research how to be deeply and consistently and unconditionally kind. In an interview with the Daily Nerd, Houston Kraft gave 2 tips in doing this work of deep kindness. 1, add kindness to your daily to-do list. He calls his a to-be list. At the top of the list, I write at least one item on my to-be list for the day, and make it just as concrete and actionable as everything on my to-do list. He shared an example. I write, "Be thoughtful. My roommate lost his uncle to COVID yesterday, so I will make him dinner tonight and do the dishes. Be kind. I will acknowledge 3 people today for their work and how it impacts us all in a positive way. Be generous. I will give 100% tip for my coffee this morning." And then, secondly, it's what he calls the weekly build-up. Since time is our most precious resource, one of the fun thought experiences he does with himself is thinking about the intersection of time and impact, time and meaning, and time and fulfillment. So his strategy on his to-be list is on Monday, write down 1 minute of kindness. On Tuesday, 2 minutes of encouragement. On Wednesday, 3 minutes of the most profound thing I could communicate. And Sunday, the challenge is to have devoted at least 20 minutes that week to deep kindness. At the end of the week, he checks the big picture of where he put his time, how it impacted his and other people's lives, and what felt the most meaningful to him. Dr. Harsha Lineage, author of The Kindness Code, Simple Acts, Extraordinary Results, wrote, "Kindness earns my highest respect because it doesn't seek rewards or acknowledgement. The beauty of kindness lies in its simplicity, authenticity, gentleness, and innocence. Starting the day in the morning, I would share kindness wrapped in pleasant greetings. As the day goes by, kindness dresses up in other forms of sweet courtesies, helpfulness, and even tolerance. I will uplift the discouraged and share sympathy for those who are burdened and lonely. The splendor of kindness touches me, dissolves my conscious control, and elevates me to a higher level. Acts of kindness, large and small, result in what Buddhists call mudita, altruistic joy." He wrote that his journey with kindness started because he did not have a choice to get away from depressing poverty in his homeland of Sri Lanka. He aimed for education as the way out of poverty and into happiness. Been there, done that. Yet although arriving at the peak of his educational Mount Everest with a PhD in biotechnology, he discovered that real prosperity and happiness was still missing in his life. It took him 40 years to find this missing jigsaw puzzle piece in his life, which is kindness. And he found that kindness is the path to transcendence and the realization that he was not perfect, that we are all imperfect. But the good news is that perfection is simply an opportunity to improve. There is no superhuman above us that we need to impress or gain love and acceptance. We are superhuman, like Deepak Chopra's metahuman from my last talk, and it is hidden within us. He created a 3-step guide called the Kindness Code. He writes that it is as simple as using a box of matches to ignite a spark to light your candle that can light up millions of others. 3 steps: ignite, light up, and radiate. Ignite the positive energy of loving kindness by performing simple acts during your daily life that will light up the kindness within you, which makes you happier and more productive, which then radiates to those around you, which transforms you as well as others in a ripple type effect. Ignite, light up, and radiate. I want to share a story with you from yet another book entitled Humankind: Changing the World One Small Act at a Time by Brad Aronson. This book has dozens of stories about how the simplest kind word or action changed the world for both the giver and the receiver. At the end of the book, he has a resource section that provides over 50 ways you can change a life through organizations and channels that can amplify your single act of kindness. And I'll include the website in the chat portion of the Zoom service after I'm finished. So many amazing stories, but I chose one appropriate for the season called The Santa Brigade. When Larry Stewart was growing up in his grandparents' home in a small town, he didn't know that they were poor. It wasn't until he started school that he learned what he lacked. His home did not have the bathrooms, telephones, hot water, and gas stoves he found in other kids' homes. As a young adult, he confronted poverty again, living paycheck to paycheck. When his employer went out of business, Larry resorted to living in his car, covering himself with the laundry to stay warm. By the time he'd gone 2 days without a meal, he was so desperate that he went to the Dixie Diner and ordered breakfast, not knowing how he'd pay for it. When he finished eating, he started looking around on the floor, pretending that he'd lost his wallet. The cook even came out from behind the counter and helped him look. Suddenly, the search was over. "Well, you must have dropped this," the cook said, holding up a $20 bill. Larry was so grateful that he made a promise to himself that as soon as he was able, he'd do something for others, like what the cook had done for him. One evening, he stopped at a drive-in restaurant and noticed that the waitress was wearing a tattered coat that couldn't have possibly kept her warm. When he handed her a $20 bill for his food, he was reminded of that other $20 bill, and he knew this was the moment. And he said, "Keep the change." Tears welled in her eyes and her hands shook as she held the money, he said. "You have no idea what this means to me," she told him. But he did. And this so inspired him that he started driving around looking for people who needed help. They weren't hard to find, and he gave away $200 that night in 5s and 10s. The more successful he became, the more money he gave away. By the time he had earned considerable wealth in cable and phone services, the town of Kansas City, Missouri, where he lived, began calling the anonymous giver of these gifts Secret Santa. All told, Larry gave away more than $1.4 million to help people pay their bills, buy Christmas presents for their children, rebuild their home destroyed in fire, etc., etc. In 2006, after serving as the anonymous Santa for more than 20 years, Larry was diagnosed with terminal cancer. At that point, he decided to go public in the hopes he could recruit more Santas to take his place. Thousands of people visited his website and signed up to become Secret Santas. In 2007, Larry died, and his hand-picked successor, another anonymous Kansas City businessman, took over for him and continues to lead the Society of Secret Santas today. Anyone can be a Secret Santa, and the website tells of how hundreds of lives have been saved. Well, the author of this book, Brad Aronson, wrote about how much he loved his grandmother and watched as she would often donate small amounts of money consistently to different charities. And she would carefully choose which place she would give her $25 to, and saying that the amount didn't matter. She just knew that it would help in some way. When she died, she left $200 for her grandson. Following her example of careful giving, he thoughtfully chose where he would give the money, and he decided on the Himalayan Cataract Project after learning about the special needs of blind children in Ethiopia. He had heard about an 8-year-old girl named Nunu who had been blind since a toddler. She was stigmatized in her society and would often miss out on playing and attending school because of her blindness, and she felt like she was a burden to her family, as they would have to sacrifice work and school to be with her, as she depended on them to help her walk and move around. She said she would cry every time she heard children playing and talking about school, in part because she was concerned about her future. How would she be able to make her own way in the world? But her family never gave up on her. And in 2016, they responded to an outreach campaign by the Himalayan Cataract Project. This was where 1,200 people were offered hope in the form of free cataract surgery, a procedure that takes about 10 minutes. So a single doctor can perform dozens of surgeries a day. Based on the author's calculations, a donation of $200 would pay for everything and cure one child of blindness. He loved thinking that his grandmother's legacy would continue in such a dynamic and dramatic way. He wrote, even if you don't have $200, if you have 20 friends who could contribute $10 each, you could give sight to the blind. That's a miracle. UU minister Reverend John C. Morgan wrote that we need to act in the present in the way that we want to see our future emerge. We can and must make America kind. It's up to us. I know we have the desire. We have the resources. Now we have the code and the formula. We just need to do it. In closing, I offer The Work of Christmas. It's written by Howard Thurman. When the song of angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among us, to make music in our hearts. May you bring love wherever you go, shine light wherever it's dark, leave joy wherever you've been, and be kind wherever you are. May it be so. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Reverend Cathy. That was amazing. Please join me in the reading of our West Valley Unitarian Universalist Church mission statement. We agree to provide a safe place to celebrate diversity, draw inspiration for living better lives, foster social and environmental justice, and compassionately support each other in our spiritual searches. And now it's time to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Next week, we are going to have an ecumenical holiday service noting Hanukkah, solstice, and Christmas. It will be a little longer than normal, and it will have lots of holiday music. Barry will be the worship associate. I look forward to that very much. It isn't love that makes the world go round, but compassion. Starting over in gentleness when love hasn't been enough or other factors have failed. A gentle refusal to blame oneself or others and just begin again. We are not human because we think. We are human because we care. All true meaning is shared meaning. We thank Reverend Cathy for joining us this morning and being part of our family and community here. We thank our musicians, Barry, Joe, and Kelly, for again enhancing our celebrations with their beautiful music. And I'd like to say thank you to all of you for sharing your morning with us. Reverend Cathy, do you have a benediction planned? There you go.
No, I did, and I included it in my sermon, but I can say it again.
Entirely up to you.
Okay, I will. It bears repeating.
Okay.
May you bring love wherever you go, shine light wherever it's dark, leave joy wherever you've been, and be kind wherever you are.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And now the recording will end, and we will do our joys and concerns.